First-year high schooler Anzu has only 3 loves: video games, chocolate, and pet cat Momohiko. One day, a love cupid named Riri appears with the news that, to combat Japan's declining birth rates, cupids from the magic realm will help young people with no romantic experience find love. Anzu's daily life will now be filled with attractive guys in romantic scenarios until she chooses a boyfriend, and so she won't try to avoid them. Riri confiscates all her games and chocolate. Plus, to ensure her parents don't get in the way, Riri has them transferred to America for work, and they take Momohiko with them. Anzu is infuriated and swears to spite Riri by avoiding all romance as the romantic killer until Riri quits and returns her life to normal. Almost immediately, Anzu meets Tsukasa, a hot guy from her school she has repeated embarrassing moments with, but is put off by his reserved, aloof personality. At home, Anzu is bored without games and, when scared by a cockroach, leaves the house to sulk in a park. Caught in the rain, Anzu is spotted by Tsukasa passing by with an umbrella. Despite trying to ignore signs of impending romance, Anzu is convinced to share Tsukasa's umbrella. After explaining about the cockroach, Tsukasa offers to kill it for her, and a comical hunt for the cockroach ends with Anzu accidentally sitting on Tsukasa. But the cockroach is killed and they become friendly. Tsukasa finds the rain has become a typhoon, trapping him at Anzu's house overnight, which Anzu confirms is Riri's doing. Riri demands Anzu dazzle Tsukasa with her wifely cooking, so she spitefully serves cheap cup ramen for lunch, and after her bath deliberately wears her most unflattering pajamas, which can never inspire romance. Deciding to play board games, Riri causes Anzu to get all the bad cards so Tsukasa wins. Anzu burns dinner, but with Tsukasa's help they finish dinner and even prepare bentos for school. Anzu realizes Tsukasa might not be so aloof after all, but stops herself before she develops feelings. Disappointed, Riri uses magic to make Anzu fall asleep first. Anzu dreams she is holding Momohiko, so when Tsukasa tries to wake her she grabs his hand and refuses to let go. Tsukasa accepts he is stuck for the night and realizes he hasn't had so much fun in a long time. Anzu is mortified when she awakens in Tsukasa's lap. Tsukasa goes home but returns, explaining the typhoon flooded his apartment. Anzu suspects Riri again. At school, a teacher mistakenly reveals to Tsukasa's fans, Rina and Yukika, that Tsukasa and Anzu know each other and insist on accompanying her to meet Tsukasa. Tsukasa is so annoyed he leaves with Anzu and forbids Rina and Yukika from following. He explains that girls like Rina, who constantly seek his attention when he is uninterested in dating, are tedious, so he prefers to spend time with Anzu. Anzu realizes if Tsukasa isn't interested in dating, she can be his friend without risking romance. A series of bad luck caused by Riri mean there are no available apartments anywhere, causing Tsukasa to ask to live with Anzu temporarily. Anzu is furious Riri so expertly manipulated them but agrees so Tsukasa won't become homeless. On their first day together, Anzu sees Tsukasa is also helpful and a hard worker. Riri reappears to remind Anzu dating sims include multiple men, and so to kickstart her romantic life it is time for the next level. At that moment, another hot guy knocks on Anzu's door, a forgotten childhood friend. Anzu has no memories of the guy, Junta, and Riri alludes to planting fake memories in Junta's mind of a childhood crush on Anzu. And if Anzu wants to win quickly, she need only take the easy route by becoming Junta's girlfriend. Anzu is forced to play along with the fake friendship to not confuse Junta. They encounter Anzu's real friend, Saki, from whom Anzu confirms everyone at school has false memories of her and Junta being friends. Rina tries to talk to Tsukasa again, who bluntly tells her to go away, angering her. Tsukasa and Junta both worry about comparing to each other. Junta is the school's baseball prodigy and Tsukasa excels at academics. Due to mixing up their bentos, Anzu ends up eating lunch with Tsukasa and his friend Makoto, witnessed by Rina. Rina later interrogates Anzu about her relationship with Tsukasa, and when Anzu confirms it is not romantic, insists Anzu help set her up with Tsukasa. Knowing Tsukasa dislikes Rina, Anzu refuses. Before Rina can become angry, a strange girl appears, claiming to be Anzu's friend, and tricks Rina into leaving through her overly energetic personality and intimate questions about Rina's breasts. Anzu realizes the girl is actually Riri in magical disguise. Tsukasa thanks Anzu for telling Rina no. Riri claims to be Anzu's cousin and invites Junta to Anzu's house. Over dinner, Junta is despondent after learning Tsukasa can cook. Riri tries to suggest Junta also live with them, so Anzu steals Riri's wand. Wrestling to get her wand back, Riri drops it in dog poo, rendering it temporarily powerless. Tsukasa reassures Junta he has no interest in dating anyone. Junta eventually goes home, so Tsukasa shares that he is unused to family dinners. Anzu suspects Tsukasa probably lived alone due to a complicated relationship with his parents. The next morning, more of Tsukasa's fans notice he walks to school with Anzu, but Anzu claims their homes are just close to each other. As Tsukasa has work after school, Anzu goes home and, without her games, goes to bed early. An underwear thief breaks into the house but is scared by Anzu's demonic rage, and a passing Junta catches the thief for the police. Junta's mother, unaware Tsukasa already lives with her, insists Junta live with Anzu to protect her, which Anzu's parents actually agree to. Anzu is furious Riri has successfully manipulated her into living with 2 attractive guys at the same time. To limit her contact with both boys at home, Anzu gets a job at a konbini. Tsukasa asks Anzu to go clothes shopping with him, hoping her presence will deter other women. Riri appears, insisting Anzu treat the shopping trip like a date where she will confiscate all her cat-themed clothing. A furious Anzu agrees to wear cute clothes and makeup, which flusters Tsukasa. Determined to resist Riri, Anzu acts as unromantic as possible and buys normal clothes but plans to never wear them. Anzu leaves to use the bathroom and multiple women immediately approach Tsukasa, their unwanted attention almost giving him a panic attack until Anzu returns. Grateful, Tsukasa finds himself staring at Anzu more than usual, and when she sees a cute cat bracelet, impulsively buys it for her. Junta meets them returning home and is overwhelmed by Anzu and makeup. That night, Riri sees the three have become far too comfortable living together and decides some drama is required to get the romance moving. The next day, Anzu's alarm doesn't go off, and while running late for school, she is almost hit by the car of another hot guy, an arrogant rich one. The rich guy, Hajiri, is so egotistical he believes Anzu caused the car accident to blackmail him into dating her. Anzu yells at him and leaves. Hajiri is confused since Anzu is the first person uninterested in him, so he decides to make her fall in love with him using her three worldly desires: chocolate, games, and kittens. Riri offers to let Anzu keep the gifts if she gives Hajiri a chance. Insulted, Anzu unexpectedly rejects the gifts, claiming she has no interest in meaningless gifts bought with his parents' money. Hajiri is unexpectedly saddened by this. The next day, Anzu finds Hajiri employed at the same konbini where she works and despite his arrogance actually excels at customer service. Anzu learns from Tsuchiya, Hajiri's bodyguard, that her interactions with Hajiri caused a dramatic shift in his personality. Since Anzu's rejection, he has actually been trying to relate to normal people. After receiving his first wage, Hajiri offers to buy her a gift with his own money. Feeling guilty, Anzu can't reject his offer and requests a cheap soda. Seeing Hajiri smile, the moment almost becomes romantic, until Anzu slaps herself back to sanity. Returning home, Anzu sees Tsukasa receive a text from a girl named Arisa. By chance, Anzu encounters Arisa, who turns out to be Tsukasa's older sister, worried about Tsukasa's living arrangements, which makes Anzu feel guilty since Tsukasa's problems were caused by Riri. Arisa explains Tsukasa lives alone because of their father, but she is happy Anzu is making Tsukasa more like his old self. Arisa successfully convinces Tsukasa to continue living with Anzu indefinitely. Riri is disappointed Anzu still has no boyfriend. Deciding she needs more research into romance, Riri bribes Anzu to take her on a mock date and transforms into a boy named Riho. During their date at the movies, Tsukasa sees them holding hands, but Riho simply claims he is Anzu's other cousin, human Riri's twin brother. Riho selects a romantic movie but realizes it doesn't actually inspire romance. It just makes girls cry and boys bored. While sharing milkshakes, they encounter Hajiri, whom Riho tries to antagonize by pretending to be a rival for Anzu's attention. Anzu angrily drags Riho away to continue with typical date activities. Eventually, Riho decides he has enough research for another scenario, and Anzu swears to defeat it. Riho suddenly kisses Anzu on the cheek, flustering her, until she realizes Riho only did it to traumatize Junta, who was right behind them. Anzu encounters Amin and Ripporin, friends from middle school, who cause her to remember a chubby boy named Tanta from elementary school. She suddenly remembers Tanta was Junta's nickname, meaning she and Junta really are childhood friends, but she didn't recognize him due to his weight loss. Amin and Ripporin invite Anzu and Junta to their school reunion. Anzu is troubled. If Junta is her real childhood friend, then his crush on her must be real. Riri confirms she never cast a spell to make Junta love her. All she did was help them reunite after years apart. At the reunion, a boy named Ryu insists on playing games, girls versus boys, with forfeits. But with Anzu's game skills, the boys lose constantly and have to embarrassingly reveal their first crush and buy the girls ice cream. Junta arrives and Ryu becomes bitter that Junta has become handsome and popular. Ryu quits the reunion, but when Anzu chases him, he admits Anzu was his first crush, but he was always jealous she was closer to Junta. Anzu is able to turn him down while remaining friends, but Junta is again traumatized when Anzu claims she isn't interested in him either. Despite the rejection, Ryu is determined to win Anzu's heart. Saki's older brother kicks her out so he can party, forcing Saki to walk to Anzu's house and accidentally discover Anzu lives with Tsukasa and Junta. She promises to keep their secret and Anzu considers telling her about Riri but is struck by a painful need to visit the bathroom. Saki tells Tsukasa him living there might be good for Anzu. Riri confirms Anzu's toilet trouble was punishment for almost revealing her existence. Saki recalls they met when Anzu defended her from a bully in middle school, and later when an older student named Ogawa tried to force himself on her. Anzu confronted him publicly and exposed his actions. Riri convinces everyone to attend the summer festival. At the festival, Ryu meets Tsukasa and, despite his own feelings for Anzu, advises Junta to confess before he misses his chance. Saki meets Ogawa and freezes in fear as he claims to his friends she is his bitter ex-girlfriend. Makoto senses her fear and makes an excuse to take her away from Ogawa, for which she is grateful. Two random girls take a picture with Tsukasa in the background and post it online. Minutes later, the photo is seen by a disturbed woman who is happy to have finally found Tsukasa's location. The woman, Yukana, approaches Anzu claiming to be Tsukasa's girlfriend. Anzu is suspicious, and when Tsukasa sees Yukana and reacts with fear, she forces Yukana to leave. Tsukasa confirms Yukana is his stalker and the reason he lived alone, so Yukana couldn't find him. He explains Yukana began stalking him after a random encounter in the street, but Tsukasa's father accused him of making it all up. Yukana began posing as Tsukasa's girlfriend online, even once drugging him to plant cameras in the house and take intimate pictures. Tsukasa's father blamed him and began beating him, so his mother helped Tsukasa rent an apartment and transfer schools. With Yukana's return, Arisa moves into Anzu's house too. Yukana convinces thugs to attack Anzu, but she is saved by Junta, Ryuya, Tsuchiya, and even Saki's brother, who all responded to texts Anzu never sent them. Riri confirms she sent the text, but rules prevent her doing anything about Yukana, so Anzu drops her wand and dog poo again. Junta reveals to Tsukasa he only began playing baseball because Anzu once said she liked athletic guys, so he will do anything to protect her. Yukana waits for Anzu to finish work and attacks her with a knife. Anzu gets a scratch on the forehead from Yukana, and before she can do any more damage, Tsukasa comes running to protect her, angrily decrying her actions. Yukana is arrested, but Tsukasa's father still blames him. Furious, Anzu stands up to him and takes Tsukasa home. Hajiri, whose father employs Yukana's uncle, makes sure he doesn't cover up her crimes yet again, so Yukana is imprisoned. Riri once again appears before Anzu as Riho, kissing her forehead while confessing love to her, before simply vanishing. Later that night, Riri menacingly visits Yukana in her prison cell. News then arrives that Yukana has lost years of memories and has no idea who Tsukasa is, reliving everyone. Anzu's parents return home with games, chocolate, and Mamohiko. With her three loves returned, Anzu wonders where Riri went. That night, Tsukasa informs Junta he is in love with Anzu, but Cupid named Kate appears before Anzu to replace Riri. But Tsukasa and Junta accidentally see her, so Kate and Anzu reveal everything. Kate reveals Riri has been exiled for developing feelings for Anzu and using forbidden magic on Yukana. Anzu blackmails Kate into letting her see Riri, which she's able to convince her higher-ups to allow. With Riri transformed into Riho, Anzu thanks him for making her life better and asks him what he truly wants. Riho admits he wants to stay with Anzu, so she declares to Kate there is a chance she might make Riho her boyfriend, so by Cupid law, Kate cannot separate potential lovers and Riho is allowed to stay. Anzu's parents return to America and Tsukasa and Junta continue living with Anzu. Riri announces the love Cupids have decided Anzu must choose a boyfriend before graduating high school, or she will lose her games, chocolate, and Mamohiko permanently, with Anzu declaring she will refuse to let that happen. Meanwhile, Kate is assigned to another human in need of romantic assistance, the amnesiac Yukana.